You're listening to the Blue 82 podcast, hosted by Craig and Nicholas. Please like and subscribe so we know that you like what we're doing. And now, let's talk football. Blue 82!
Welcome back, everyone, to the Blue 82 podcast. I am your host, Craig, with my co-host, Nicholas. And this is episode 24. We're going to be recapping the divisional round and talking about the conference championship coming up. Kind of a boring week of football, to be honest. A couple decent games, couple games that were kind of like, but we're one step closer to figuring out who's going to win the season. Let's see. We don't really have much news because, like we've talked about before, there's just not a whole lot of news that comes out during these weeks. There's, of course, a lot of news about guys interviewing for head coaching jobs and things like that, but we're not too worried about that now. We'll, like we've said before, break that down whenever the season's over. Right now, we're just focusing on playoff teams and things like that.
The only big news I can think of was the Mahomes injury, but even that, it looks like it's just a high ankle sprain, so it's not like he's gonna miss any time.
Yeah,
he pretty much guaranteed himself that he's gonna play. So.
Yeah, he said he's gonna play through it. So I don't know. I'm sure he'll probably be at what do we think? 75% of his true self, maybe, with that high ankle sprain. If I were to guess,
maybe
I
he gets
don't know how
80%.
bad it is. Yeah. Just depends,
but when they get the drugs in him, he's gonna feel like 99.
Yeah, exactly. That's what's funny. Whenever it happened, I was like, and then I saw him walk into the locker room. I was like, oh, he's about to get shot up with something and come back and play. Yeah, I mean, as far as injury wise, that's all we got. That's all I can think of right now. I don't know if there was any major ones. Yeah, I mean, with that, I guess we'll go ahead and dive in and talk about the recap of the games real quick. Just because we didn't talk about it in the last episode, where the wild card round, the Cowboys versus the Bucks. I mean, not much to say about that game. The Cowboys pretty much dominated them, which is, I know I picked the Bucks to win, but I only picked them out of spite of how the Cowboys normally perform in the playoffs. They normally choke, but
hey, don't worry, you're just a week early.
yeah, the Bucks were just outclassed. I mean, the Bucks were an 8-9 team for a reason. They weren't good. We knew that. We just were. I was thinking the fact that it's Tom Brady, maybe they'll figure it out in the playoffs, but they didn't. But yeah, I mean, like
Tom
you
Brady
said,
sure as hell didn't help either.
No, he did not at all. Like you said, I was just a week early though. I guess we can start.
Honestly, real quick, if you want to talk about news with Tom Brady, I heard people saying, a lot of people I want Tom Brady. Do you really want Tom Brady? You know what I mean? Judging off of him, off of this season, and the fact that, what you just saw in the playoffs,
yeah.
I really think he's going to get one more chance because, again, it's Tom Brady.
Yeah.
But after that, I don't know how many more chances you can get. You know what I mean? Just because he's a 7-time Super Bowl winner, whatever it is, you're only going to get another year probably to be okay, was it a fluke or actually that guy? You know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
because
I agree.
I can't imagine he's going to get another 2 years, 3 years, and they're okay, well, you sucked. What now? You know what I mean?
And my thing, too, is...
At his age, too.
There's not many teams out there that are okay, let's just rent a quarterback for a year and then try to figure something out the next year. Most of these teams are going to want a quarterback for multiple years. You know what I mean? That's why, even the Aaron Rodgers.
That's why I can only see him going to maybe the Raiders or something,
or maybe the Jets for a year. Yeah, but that's I have people. There's people out there that are mocking him to sign with the 49ers, and it's dude.
Yeah, I don't know how.
Why would the
Brock
49ers...
Purdy's literally giving you what Tom Brady.
Yeah, and then not only that, you have the argument for Trey Lance. Why would he go there? And even then, after watching this year, why would you want him there? I mean, you're completely right. He'll probably sign with the team for one more year, and I think if he plays like he did this year, he's gonna retire, and or he's not gonna get another contract. You know,
he's just gonna be forced into retiring.
Yeah.
I don't see how someone's gonna be well, what, you're 40? What is he gonna be 47? He's gonna if he comes back, if he gets another year, he's gonna be 48, and it's gonna be you had it 2 shit years in a row. You're 48 now, whatever he is. Like, let's give you another chance. Like, there's no way.
So he's
I
40,
refuse to believe
45, so he'll probably be like 46 at the start of the season. So by then he'll be 47 at the end of the year.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so if he signs with a team, he'll be 46. And then next offseason, if he shits the bed again, he'll be 47.
Nobody's going to want him.
You really going to take a chance on a 47-year-old?
Yeah,
like,
nah.
After having 2 bad years in a row? Like, there's just no way.
Yeah, you can make the excuse for one, like that team was bad. Yeah, I get it. We'll give you one more chance. But if he plays as bad as he did, then it's like, okay, you're done, dude.
I'll see him getting 1 more year, but then after that, it's done.
Yeah. And even then, like we said, I really only see 2 spots where like it can make sense for him going, like the Jets and the.
I just really think it's gonna be the Raiders, just because of the head coach was his
Yeah.
former OC for how many years.
I could see that.
Also, real quick, I'm so glad we stopped talking about I think it was the last episode we talked about how or maybe it was the one before that we talked about what's his name, like Jim Harbaugh. We were gonna stop talking about him, right?
Yeah.
Because of how many every year he basically says he's gonna come out and then he doesn't, right? He doesn't go to the NFL. He stays in college. Same thing with fucking Aaron Rodgers. I'm so tired of that carousel too. Is he retiring? Is he staying?
Yeah,
like, I don't care, dude. And it's Aaron Donald too, and we can also throw in the Ravens head coach too, Sean McVay.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so over this shit, dude. You're like 38 years old. Are you gonna retire and go to fucking TV and stay there, or are you gonna fucking coach the Rams?
And I mean,
like,
even Tom Brady at this point, the last 2 seasons, it's man, is he retiring? Where's he going? What's going on? Like, it just.
I can't handle this.
I'm not gonna make any
bullshit.
I'm not gonna make any assumptions. I'm just gonna fucking wherever they land, if they retire or whatever. Because yeah, I mean, it gets old. The Aaron Rodgers one's the one for me that like pisses me off the most, because it's like, dude, you're only 37 or how, like
it's been what 3 years in a row now?
3 years in a row that he's like, I'm gonna retire, or I'm not gonna play, or I need a bigger contract, or like
they literally paid him so much fucking money, and then now he's like, I don't know if I'm gonna come back. Like, dude, shut the fuck up.
And then they gave him a 2-year contract, so you would think at that point, all right, he's gonna play at least 2 more years. He plays 1 year, and now he's like, well, I need to step away and figure out what I'm gonna do. Like,
and it's also too, Aaron Donald's getting up there too now. Like, he's even younger. I don't even know if he's had to be like what, early 30s.
He should have retired once they won the Super Bowl. He should have been on the stage. And
he's already bitching, complaining with Sean McVay, and it's like, dude, I'm so over it, dude. Like, either retire or don't play. Like,
no,
I don't care.
I agree.
But
completely.
yeah, Cowboys smoked the Bucks. That's that.
Saturday we had the Jags and the Chiefs. I'll let you start on this game.
I mean, it looked like the Chiefs were going to run away with this game. It started off good for the Chiefs. The Jags weren't doing anything. Mahomes ends up getting hurt. I think he went out in the beginning of the second quarter, I want to say it was.
I think it was something like that, yeah.
Because then Henny took over, Mahomes on the sideline. It was a big question mark as if he's coming back in, whatever. He ended up going to the locker room. I think he came back out after, but Henny ended up leading like a 99-yard drive.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I don't know if they got a touchdown, did they?
They got a touchdown
or a field goal.
No, it was a touchdown.
But he basically held it down pretty okay for a backup. Almost had an interception. That was like deflected. Yes. It like kind of got hung up in the air, but it hit the ground luckily. But he didn't do too bad for coming. I don't know when the last time he would have played was.
Oh, dude, I couldn't tell you.
Because I was telling Janine, like, Janine was like, who the fuck is that guy warming up? And I was like, don't disrespect the Dolphins legend.
I would have to say the last time would be, a couple years ago when Mahomes was hurt, but I don't even know if he was the backup then. It might have been somebody else.
I think was it Matt Moore maybe? Was Matt Moore the backup?
I think it was Matt Moore the backup was then.
I want to say they had Matt Moore too.
Yeah.
They've had both Dolphins ones, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, it's pretty funny. Like, what a blast from the past. Like, the last time I remember this guy playing, Craig, was like 08 to like 12 for the Dolphins. Like, that's a long
That just goes
ago.
to show you, like, what backup quarterbacks can do. Like, they just sit there and just vibe forever and don't fucking do anything. And then finally they get in and...
But like, he wasn't even bad either. That's the thing. Like,
what are we talking about all the time, Nick? Backup quarterbacks are meant to fucking come in a jam, give you a drive or two, maybe give you a couple games, and they do decent. That's why, like, they're backups. But if you put them in for a whole 17-game season, they're not going to do that because That's just how it is.
Yeah,
But
it's almost like a relief pitcher, you know?
yeah, you
He ain't
come
gonna
in
go out there
jam.
and give you 9 innings, but he'll go out there and maybe get you 1,
Yeah,
maybe 2.
no, 100%.
But yeah, I want to say Trevor Lawrence too didn't play his best,
No, for sure.
and I think it kind of carried over from game 1 where he got lucky and they ended up coming back because he threw 4 interceptions that game, but they ended up throwing 4 touchdowns, right?
Yeah.
So it's like he's kind of been hot and cold in the playoffs, right?
Uh-huh.
Seemed like at first he was gonna be the lights were too bright, couldn't do it, but then he came back. But this game didn't come back. He was just kind of just mid all around. I don't know. It was a close game, but the way it looked like at first with Mahomes playing, like they were just gonna dominate them.
Yeah,
But even on his one fucking ankle, he was still making insane plays.
yeah. My thing with this game, Nick, was like, did Trevor Lawrence play his best? No. I feel like this Jags team as a whole, you know how sometimes when you get like those crazy comebacks or those crazy games, and then the next game you come out like flat, just because you feel like the game before you literally gave it everything, and then now you're like, fuck, I gotta play another one, and you're just low on energy. That's literally the vibe I got from like the Jags. Like it just didn't seem like they were firing on all cylinders. Whether it was Trevor Lawrence not playing his greatest, defense kind of struggling a bit. But it's kind of going to be expected, right? You're going against the Chiefs.
Yeah.
You have to kind of pretty much match them score for score. I will say the thing that made me
I'm sure a lot of people are gonna blame Jamal Agnew for the fumble, but
I mean,
at the same time, there was times too where Trevor Lawrence could have thrown a pick too. Like
when
they were doing that drive, like there was times like he threw the ball and it should have been picked,
Yeah.
but it got dropped.
He's gonna get some of the blame, and in my opinion, it's warranted because they were driving down to potentially get in within 3 points and have a chance at the game, and he fumbled it. So of course you don't want that to happen. But I mean, the Jaguars team as a whole was just playing flat. I think my biggest, like, if I were to pick something apart from this game, my biggest thing would be Patrick Mahomes gets hurt, right? He's on one fucking leg the whole time. In my mind, if I'm a defensive coordinator, if I'm a head coach, whoever, I am bringing the fucking house over and over again to make this dude have to maneuver inside the pocket because he's only on one leg. He's going to struggle to do that. Like, I'm going to be trying to bring some exotic blitzes, some fucking
There's
dudes
even
off
that
the
one
edge,
where he kind of got pressured and he stepped up and he threw it off like the one leg. I don't know if you saw.
No, I mean he's still going to make plays. It's Patrick Mahomes, but I'm going to do anything I can
when
to
I
make
saw
him feel
I don't know if you saw it where he was like trying to
pocket.
hand the ball off. He tried to hand the ball off and he couldn't even hand it off.
Yeah.
I'm like, you gotta how are you not sacking this guy?
Bring some fucking pressure, play man to man. Like, are you going to give up some plays to him because it's Patrick Mahomes? Absolutely, but after that, you got to make this dude feel uncomfortable in the pocket, and I just don't think the Jags did a good enough job on that. And I feel like
I'm 100% with you on that. I think you got to
him.
blame. I think Trevor Lawrence takes a little bit of blame, but you also got to blame Doug Peterson.
Yeah, I mean,
because Travis Kelce had 17 targets, 14 were caught, 98 yards, 2 touchdowns. That is their best player.
Dude.
How do you not have that guy accounted for?
Not only that, Nick, if you go back and watch some of these plays, because I saw it like on clips on TikTok or whatever. If you go back and watch some of these plays, Nick, Travis Kelce would run the most like normal ass like block and release route, and these dudes are like lost, don't even know where he's at. Like they're running past him, they're running to a different guy and leaving this guy wide open. It's like, how do you not have somebody on the field and say, okay, you're our most athletic guy, you're covering Travis Kelce. Whatever he does, if he blocks, you rush the passer. If he fucking blocks and release, you rush and then you fucking cover him. If he just fucking blocks, you rush the passer. You know what I mean? Like. How do you not have that accounted for? Because, like I said, there were so many routes he ran, Nick, that were literally just
basic ass routes.
He chip blocks a fucking edge rusher, and then he fucking floats out to the left, and then Mahomes throws a 2-yard pass, and then Travis Kelce has 10 yards in front of him where he runs it into the end zone or gets 10 more yards. Like, there was no exotic route ran. Like, he was running the most basic shit, and the Jaguars were just looking lost. Like, they had no idea where Travis Kelce was. It was ridiculous.
But yeah, like I said, I'm gonna blame that one on coaching because you cannot lose Travis Kelce.
Yeah, no.
Like, there's just no way.
He should not be getting 17 targets when that's their best player on the field. That's crazy, man. Like, I know that the best
I didn't
player is
realize it was
typically
that
gonna.
much either.
Yeah,
But
I know the best player is gonna get some targets, and they're still gonna get catches because they're the best, and teams scheme them to get open. But when he's getting targeted 17 times, that means he is open 17 times, essentially. You know what I mean? Like, how are you not scheming? Yeah, no, like I said, the whole team came out flat. I just don't think that the Jags had a good game plan coming into this. And like I said, they kind of got blessed a little bit with Mahomes getting hurt, and they should have like taken advantage of that, and they fucking didn't. You know what I mean? Like there was ways to take advantage of him getting hurt, and they just didn't do it. And I think that's what cost them the game. I don't think you can necessarily pinpoint it on one exact moment that the Jags lost the game or one person. I think it was kind of a collective thing as a team. Like they just came out
flat. Didn't really. Your defense wasn't playing great. Your offense didn't play great. Like you just played mid.
Something we kind of talked about before. Like when you play the Chiefs, you need to play perfect football. That's why like the Bengals tend to do so well against them, because the Bengals don't make a whole lot of mistakes, right? Like they come out, they do their job. If you beat us, you're beating us because you're better than us, not because we're beating ourselves. You know what I mean? Like, do the Bengals have that moment? For sure. But when it comes to, like, the big games, they don't have those moments. Yeah, and you can't make mistakes when you play the Chiefs. You got to play perfect. You got to come out hot. And the Jags just didn't do that. But we'll see. I mean, like we've said before, they still have a good team and excited for the future. They're getting Ridley. If they can re-sign Ingram, like, their offense is going to be fucking stacked. And then one more year for Trevor, one more year in the system with Doug Peterson. Like, they're definitely looking good for the future, but big games like this, you got to perform a little bit better.
100%.
Next, we got the Giants at the Eagles. I mean, this was just a outclass, masterclass, whatever you want to call it. Like, Eagles are the better team.
This is the one where I also would blame the coaching as well.
Yeah, I mean, you can for sure. I think you definitely can blame the coaching on the Giants
I think it's a
side.
talent issue, but also at the same time, Brian Dable has to coach better than that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think
you know what I mean. Like you can blame the talent, but you got to coach.
You still got to coach for sure.
Like he just didn't show up.
Yeah, the Eagles just came out fucking hot as fuck. Like they had something to prove. The Giants just came out kind of flat too. It seemed like I don't know.
They didn't even come out flat. They didn't even come out at all.
They didn't come out at all. Yeah, that's true.
Like
it seemed like the
you know how like horse races, the gate opens up and the horses run out.
Sitting there?
They were stuck in there
the whole time.
they just didn't know what to do.
Let me ask you this, just because I hear what you're saying, but I want to hear like what you think he could have done to better coach. Like what do you mean exactly by like he needs to coach better in this situation?
I mean, have your defense actually step up and make some plays.
That's true.
I mean, they let two running backs almost rush for 100 yards, Craig.
Yeah, no.
One had 112, the other one had 90.
Yeah.
Like,
it's definitely not good.
And then Jalen Hurts had 34, and Boston Scott having 32. Like, so what is that in total? I don't even know. Like,
I think they had 270 rushing yards.
Yeah, almost 300 yards.
Yeah.
Like, that's not good at all.
Not good.
Like, and then you have to think too, like who you have on that D line. Like you have Dexter Lawrence, who I think is a second All-Pro team.
Yeah, he's had
All-Pro, first All-Pro, second All-Pro as a D tackle. Then you have Kayvon Thibodeau. Excuse me. So it's like you got players there, but it's like you did not stop that run at all.
Yeah. I will say, and this is where I go back to the talent thing. Like, yes, they have those players, but the Eagles literally have one of the best, if not the best, O-line in the league. So that's something to be said
I
for
get
that.
it. Like I said, it's the same thing as like how people thought the Bills and Dolphins game was gonna go. Like they're just gonna get blown out. You know what I mean? It's expected that they were gonna lose most likely, but you can't lose 38-7.
No, you can't.
Like this is your third time playing this team in your own division. Like you have to coach it better than that, in my opinion.
No, I feel you.
And like last thing I'll say real quick is when we were playing the Bills, I was hoping like McDaniel would call some like wildcat plays or like something. Like, you know what I mean? Like your season's on the line. It's over after this
Change
if
it
you
up a
don't
little
win.
bit. Yeah.
Like you just gotta go for it. Like call something different. And also too, going back to his coaching, they went for it on 4th and 8 in
That
like
was questionable.
the first
Yeah.
drive of the game. Like
Yeah.
what the fuck was that?
And I think it was at like
Like,
their
you kick
own
that
40-yard
field goal.
line or 50 or something.
Like you kick the field goal, you might make it, might not, whatever. But it's like you could either play the field position or try and go for the points. You know what I mean?
Don't fucking.
You
go
just
for
literally
it.
turned it over on 4th and 8 for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's all I'll say.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
And last thing to you, I think both these teams, like the Jags and the Giants, aren't gonna be like one and done. Like they made the playoffs this year and that's it. Like I can see them making it again if they can improve somewhere. Like the Giants definitely need some wide receiver help, and then the Jags, I'd say maybe improve your defense a bit more.
Yeah. No, I agree completely.
But I think they both got nice futures to look at too.
Yeah, for sure. I will say, and again, little partial because I've been an Eagles fan all year. Like I've been hyping them up. Only reason I say this is because yes, you say that everybody thought the Eagles were gonna win, but I saw a lot of people that were picking the Giants over the Eagles just for the fact that they're playing them the 3rd time this year. There's no way they lose again. The Giants are hot, yada, yada, yada. Like, the Eagles are just, they're scary, man. Like, I know we talk about the 49ers being scary, and yes, they are, but something's got to be said for the fact that the Eagles can one game throw for 350 yards, and then the next game run for 270. You know what I mean? Like, they're so dynamic that I feel like teams don't know how to scheme against them because one week they're scheming to try to stop all these passes and kind of slow down Jalen Hurts in the passing game, and then the next week you're getting ran all over. Like, it just, I think it makes it hard for teams to scheme against these Eagles because you don't know what they're going to do each week. But that was just my little rant I wanted to go on because I feel like the Eagles are 14-3 and we're one of the hottest teams in the NFL, and somehow they're still getting overlooked at the end of the day. But, like you said, definitely a lot to look forward to in the future with the Giants. They're going to address the Daniel Jones thing and the Saquon thing, which is going to be very important to how their team looks for the future. Don't really know what's going to happen with those two people yet. But I think if somehow they can re-sign them, which, I mean, is definitely possible. It's just whether or not they can figure out the right prices and things. But I feel like if they can re-sign him, they definitely are in a good spot for the future. You know what I mean? Because Brian Daboll's a hell of a coach, and we've seen that time after time with this Giants team all year long. They definitely outperformed what everybody expected them.
I mean, if this guy can coach a team to the playoffs with this talent, then hopefully you get him some wide receivers and some actual players.
Yeah.
Like, maybe they can.
I definitely think the
than
biggest thing has got to be wide receivers. They need wide receiver help bad.
I don't care. I don't know who is available, but you gotta find someone. You gotta draft someone. Like you gotta pull all the stops to get someone at wide receiver for this team.
I mean, Hopkins is out there. It's a possibility. I don't know what the Cardinals are gonna want for him, but you would think him being a little older.
Stephon Diggs might be available too.
I don't know about that. I think he's just frustrated. I don't think he's like frustrated to that extreme, but who knows?
I might never know.
You never know. We have seen like. What's
T.
funny
Higgins
about
might be available too.
Yeah, what's funny about the NFL lately is there's been a lot of turnaround of players lately, and normally it's not like that. Like normally when a guy's with a team and they sign, that's who they're with. But lately we've been seeing a lot of people get traded that we didn't expect to get traded. So at the end of the day, you never fucking know.
I used to always laugh when people say, "Oh, well, everyone has a price," but like it never really seemed like that. But now it's like, well,
now it definitely seems like that.
Seems like you do have a price because people are getting traded all over that are like all pro talents,
100%
that you just would not expect.
Moving on to the Sunday games, we had the Bengals and the Bills. I mean, I expected the Bengals to win. Yeah, I expected the Bengals to win for sure. Like no doubt in my mind, I literally was saying it the whole time. But I did not expect them to blow the Bills out like this. You know what I mean? Like, Josh Allen came out, had one of his fucking typical bad Josh Allen games. Their team their defense struggled, man. The Bengals were doing whatever they wanted. Like, the Bengals were just in complete control of this game from the get-go. They went down first drive, had like a 7-8 minute drive and scored, and then got the ball back, had another 7-minute drive and scored. Like, just doing whatever they wanted to him. I mean, it's tough, dude. Like, Josh Allen's talented. This Bills team is talented. But I just don't see, like, where everybody thought from the get-go that they were automatically gonna win a Super Bowl team, and why there was so much hype in them. Like, yes, they're 13-3. Like, that's a big deal. Don't get me wrong. But they haven't even made a fucking championship game, Nick. How are we automatically calling them the Super Bowl winners if they haven't even made it to a championship game? You know what I mean? I don't know.
I'm just letting you talk. I'm waiting to get my floor.
I'm done. I'm letting you go because I'm ready for it. I already know where this is going.
I fucking loved watching this shit. I watched the Bengals just march down the field. It was great. What?
Sorry, y'all. Nick's talking to his dad real quick.
Alright, sorry about that. So yeah, I watched the Bengals just march on the field. I think it was the first drive, right?
Yeah.
I think the Bills punted right back after that. I think they basically went back on the field and scored again.
Yep.
And then after that, I had to leave, so I couldn't really watch the rest of it. But I was watching on my phone, and I was just seeing that the Bills basically weren't able to do fuck all. I think to me, this was like the best thing that happened because these Bill fans, Bills Mafia that they call them, have been running fucking rampant all over social media, man. At the beginning of the year, this was the team everyone, quote unquote, had to beat in the AFC.
Yep.
This was the Super Bowl preseason champs, everyone said, right?
Yep.
I mean, fuck, Tony Romo apparently was calling them the champs. I don't know what he was referring the champs of. I wish I could have watched this game just to hear Tony Romo crying like a bitch.
He called Josh Allen an alien early in the game, and then I'd never heard it again.
Yeah, so I would have loved to hear that play call, like the commentary on this game.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, like I said, I didn't get to watch it all. But yeah, so I'm not sure what the fuck Tony Romo was talking about when he called them the champs. He called Josh Allen an alien. It's just fucking comedy to me at this point. Like, I was laughing at this shit. Like, I'm so glad this happened. And I even told Janine, I was like, I hope the Bills just get punched in the face by the fucking Bengals. Like, it would be the greatest thing ever. I like to go through Reddit, right? May not be the best opinion, whatever, but you see the majority of what people are thinking in a subreddit, right? Because I always sort it by the hot posts, right? So
yeah.
These posts have like 1,000 thumbs up. Like, so the Bill fans were basically like, just they were upset that all these commentators were talking about how Josh Allen's turnovers were such a big deal, like a concern, right? Like legitimately, they were legitimately like questioning like what they were talking about, and it's like, and some people were saying, well, it's Josh Allen, that's his play style. You're gonna get turnovers, but you're also gonna get the MVP level play, and I'm like, dude. He hasn't been MVP since probably the mid fucking season.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%.
Like, there was not one game where I was looking at Josh Allen coming to like into December, January, like I was like, wow, this guy's good.
MVP, yeah, exactly.
In the Dolphins game, a fucking loan. He had 2 interceptions, 3 fumbles. Yeah. Grant you only one of the fumbles was
But still, putting the
covered, but
ball
again,
out
it
there.
went for a touchdown.
Yeah.
Like, that to me is not like, you don't think that's concerning? That's a fucking issue. Like, 3 fumbles and 2 picks. Like, that's 5 turnovers that could have went to the Dolphins if we would have able to get the other 2 fumbles. Like, that is
and
a
not only
definite
that,
concern.
you got to look at a lot of his picks this year. I feel like have been in the red zone. He's throwing more.
A lot of his
picks
picks
in the
have
red
been
zone.
fucking brutal.
Yeah.
Like, there's ones where I'm
Like,
watching him play.
game-changing picks.
He literally fucking just throws it to the middle of the field, and it wasn't even going to anyone except for the defender. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what he sees, what he's thinking. Like, he's bad though. Like, really bad. Grant, he was good last year when he had Daboll. And look at how good Daniel Jones was this year with his turnovers. So maybe that was the contributing factor. But this year he was fucking horrendous.
Yeah.
And to sit there and think that it wasn't concern is laughable. Like, I can't believe people didn't think that was a definite concern. Like, you can't be turning the ball over in the play, like, at all in the NFL regular season games like that. But to come into a playoff game and be turning it over that much, like, it's a fucking issue.
I think it's also
like, you're
crazy.
not gonna get them all back. You know what I mean?
No, 100%. I think it's also crazy to think at the beginning of the year that the Chiefs and the Bengals were not the 2 favorites for the AFC Super Bowl. Like, you know, the side for the AFC in the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like, to think it was the Bills when the Chiefs, all they did was lose Tyreek Hill. Like, I get that. The Bengals, they got a whole new offensive line that was an upgrade. Granted, I know the Bengals started off a little slow at the beginning of the year, and they had some people doubting, like, even you, like, we had that conversation at one point, and you were like, I just don't see the Bengals making the playoffs. And, like, I get the doubts, like, they struggled at the beginning of the year a bit, but to not have the Bengals and the Chiefs as the favorites, to me, is just mind-boggling, especially since, like I said, the Bills hadn't even made a fucking AFC championship with Josh Allen yet. It's just crazy. And I mean, the Josh Allen we saw this year, Nick, was the Josh Allen that
we seen of old, like his
it was
rookie
the guy,
season.
Yeah, it was the guy that I did not think was a good quarterback. And look, we're seeing it again. Like, I've never been a hater of Josh Allen, but I never thought he was good. His first couple years, I did not think he was good. Last year, like,
he hasn't
I gave
been
him
good.
some props. He was good that one year, it seems like, bro. Like,
he's been mid for like
Yeah.
his first 3 seasons. Was good in
last year.
like was mediocre year 3, turned it on in year 4, and then what is this, year 5 now?
I think so.
So it's like he's only been good for 1 year.
Yeah. It's just what we've talked about all year long. These teams that are in the playoffs that make long runs, what can they do, Nick? They can rush the passer. They can run the football when they need to. They're dynamic. They can do multiple things. And the Bills are just so fucking one-dimensional. Like, I know they had the injury with Von Miller, and that was their big signing in the offseason to help rush the passer. But you can't rely on one guy to rush the passer, first off. Second off, you need to be able to run the ball, and we have not seen them do that at all, ever, this year. Last year, it seems like. So if the Bills genuinely want to be a favorite for the AFC, they need to address the scheme. They need to address the running back position. They need to get more rushers on the D-line, like, because you're just, I mean, dude, the Bengals just outclassed them so much. At multiple times in the game, the Bengals were rushing 3 people and we're still getting to Josh Allen. When you're rushing 3 people and you're still getting to Josh Allen, that means your pass rush is very good. Very good. You know what I mean? Like, it just blows my mind, like, how we thought they were favorites. Like,
Or the Bills O-line is fucking terrible.
well, that too, but it just, I don't know, man. The hype around them, like, I get it. It's warranted somewhat after what Josh Allen and them did last year and how they easily could have went to the AFC Championship. They just lost in overtime. Like, I get that, but I don't know, man. I don't know. Bengals are
I'm gonna tell you what right now. This Bills team, I know, like, Bill fans are always gonna be like, oh, like, we always had next year. I think this team might be fucked.
It's possible.
And
They're losing a lot of people on defense, Nick. Or
I'm not
potentially
saying-
losing.
I'm not saying they're gonna be fucked, like, they're not still gonna be able to compete, but, like, they're gonna lose a lot of players. They're now gonna be tight against the cap. Looking at it right now, for 2023, they're -5 mil, it says. Right?
Yeah.
Move over to next year, they get 19 mil over the cap, so they have like almost 20 mil in cap space. But again, you're gonna have to sign all these players that you have right
Yeah.
now. Josh Allen this year has a cap hit of 39 fucking million.
Yeah.
Like, and I want to say next year his cap hit then goes up to 41 mil. So good luck. The year after that it then goes up to 51 mil.
Yeah, it seems like they missed their window that we talk about all the time. Like, you have that
The
4 or
thing,
5 year window when they're rookies.
I swear I saw a stat. I wish I saved it because I lost it, but I swear I saw a stat somewhere that said like nobody, like they haven't, very rarely do teams ever make like a Super Bowl with their quarterback on the second contract.
Yeah,
Just because
no,
of how
I
much
believe
it fucking takes up.
Yeah.
But yeah, looking at this, like this team is fucked. There's no way.
Yeah. No, I agree.
And then, how old is Von Miller? Where's Von Miller's contract?
He signed a pretty lengthy contract.
Yeah,
Wasn't
he
it like
was
5
33. He
years?
signed it. He signed a 6-year deal at
Yeah.
33. For whatever reason, they overpaid him.
Yeah.
And this year he's making 18 mil. Next year he'll make 21 mil, and he'll be 35.
Yeah.
Coming off of what injury was it, an ACL?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good luck with that. I think they are fucked.
I think so too.
Their big free agents are Ed Oliver, who's their defensive tackle, Tremaine Edmonds, that's their linebacker, Jordan Poyer, their star safety, and then Gabriel Davis, another wide receiver.
Nick, I'm gonna go ahead and say this now, and this is a super duper duper early prediction, right? The Bills will not win the AFC East
Oh,
next year. It will either it'll be the Dolphins if Tua can stay healthy, and that's a big if.
if
it'll
Tua
be the
stays
Jets.
healthy and the Jets get a fucking quarterback, like,
yeah, it's the
good
Bills
luck winning
won't
that
win.
AFC again.
Yeah. The Bills, if they make the playoffs, they'll be a wild card team, without a doubt.
Yeah, I definitely don't disagree at all with that.
And
Like, I think
Also,
the Bills' window's closed almost, pretty much.
next year, when we get back into like trying to predict things for playoffs and teams that are going to do well, if we say anybody besides the Chiefs or the Bengals, can we correct each other in that sense? Like, we can have some dark horses like the Jags or whoever, don't get me wrong. But the favorites have got to be the Bengals or the Chiefs every year, at least from now on, because I genuinely think, and look, I know I'm a fan, and that's where some of these things get hard because I tend to lean towards fandom a little bit sometimes, but I know Joe Burrow is not as like athletically gifted as Mahomes and may not be able to make all the plays that Mahomes can make, but Joe Burrow is something special when it comes to leading a team. I don't know what it is, but he is Mahomes-like in that sense. And I think, like, even like Joe said it, as long as he's there with the Bengals or whatever team he's on, they have a chance at a Super Bowl, and I wholeheartedly believe that. Like, I think there's just something special when it comes to that guy, and he's probably a top 3 quarterback in the league, in my opinion, just based off of that. Like I said, is he the most athletic, most physically gifted guy out there? Probably not, but he does something to get this team feeling it. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, the Bills, LOL. That's all I gotta say is just LOL. Moving on, we got the Cowboys and the 49ers. This was a very defensive game, Nick. I kind of expected
I don't really
this.
have much to say on this game because I honestly didn't get to watch
it.
anything.
Yeah, I took a nap.
I just
in the
know
middle of
that the kicker for the Cowboys got blocked again.
That was fucking hilarious, dude. Yeah, I mean, it was
That guy
just a
can't catch a
defensive
break.
game. I mean, it was field goals after field goals. It was fucking 49ers finally got that
I
one.
saw the only thing I saw at halftime was like 6-9. I was like,
Yeah, it was 9-6, and then it was 9-9, and then it was 12-9, and then it was 12-12, I think, and then they scored the touchdown and made it.
so they're just
19-12.
basically selling them for field goals.
Yeah, they was. Well, they could. Neither team could like move the ball. Like they would move the ball like 20 yards to like the 50, and then they would have to punt it because they would stall out. And then sometimes they would move the ball to like the 30 and then stall out again and kick a field goal. Like, that's really all it was.
Did Brock Purdy look human this game or what? They actually got to him a little bit?
The pass rush definitely got to him. And there was definitely... And this is the thing. Like, this is the thing where I've talked about before that... Do I think Brock Purdy is the greatest? No. But he's been doing something that's not putting... He's not putting the ball in harm's way, it feels like. You know what I mean? Like, there's a couple times he'll throw a pass and it could have been intercepted, but it gets dropped. Like, I get that. But it just seems like he takes care of the ball pretty decently. And versus on the Cowboys side, Dak Prescott did not. He threw 2 interceptions, typical Dak. You cannot convince me that Dak is a good quarterback in this league. I'm sorry. He has his moments, but then again, he has his terrible moments. Kind of the same scenario like Josh Allen. Granted, you're not going to get as good as play out of Dak, I feel like. But that's neither here nor there. Like I said, the 49ers, the rush got to Brock a lot. The Cowboys' pass rush definitely hurt them. Fuck, my brain's not working. I can't put together 2 sentences. Sorry. Yeah, I mean, it was a defensive game at the end of the day. Like, pass rushers getting there on both sides, it seemed like. Dak couldn't do shit. Brock really couldn't do shit. Like I said, the only difference in this game was the one drive that the 49ers snuck into the end zone. And then, like I said, I mean, as close as this game was, the reason the Cowboys lost was because of Dak. There was a couple times they were driving pretty decently, and Dak threw a pick, and it kind of hurt them. So, and then Tony Pollard going out sucks because Zeke can't run the ball for shit. So they made it to where the Cowboys had to rely on Dak even more, and he was just missing throws, doing all types of bad. Like, just... There was one time, Nick, it was the last drive, I think it was, and there was 50 seconds left, and they had to go like 90 yards. Granted, probably not going to happen because they had no timeouts either way, but Dak Prescott had the ball at like the 8-yard line. This dude runs a rollout into the end zone. A dude's rushing him into the end zone and damn near tackles him for a safety, and then Dak kind of like lowers his shoulder and gets lucky and gets past him, and then throws the ball away. Like, Dak's just not good in time management situations. Like, he can't fucking command an offense, it seems like. I don't know, dude. He struggles a lot.
Well,
Cowboys choke again. That's all I gotta say.
Cowboys, Bills absolutely fucking choke. I think that's all.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
will say, though, real quick, if... And this kind of brings me on to these predictions now. The 49ers definitely looked human in that game. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't look as scary as they normally did. I feel like if the Eagles can come out and play defense well, they can hold... Because me personally, I feel like the Eagles can score whenever they want to. So I feel like if their defense can play like the Cowboys' defense played, they have a really good chance of winning this game. Because, like I said, the 49ers kind of looked human in that game.
I mean, like we said, Craig. Like we said, you come into the playoffs, you need a run game and you need defense.
Yep.
Alright, so 49ers at the Eagles. Who do you have?
I'm taking the Eagles solely based on the fact that, and not so much solely based, but you literally just mentioned it. You need run game, you need pass rush. We talk about it all the time when it comes to playoffs. The Eagles led the league in sacks by a wide margin. I think the next closest team was like 10, 11 like sacks. Yeah. So it's like the Eagles' pass rush is just crazy. They have multiple guys over 10-plus sacks on the year. Like, anybody on that D-line can do it, and I think that's what's going to have to come alive again. Granted, I know they came alive against the Giants, but they're going to have to do it again if they want to get in the head of Brock Purdy and slow this team down, which I think they can do, and I'm riding the Eagles again. I think they're the better team. Like, as scary as the Niners are, I get it, but I think the Eagles are better.
I'm going to jump on board with the Eagles here.
Are you?
Mm-hmm.
You said the 49ers before the show started.
I've been thinking about it. I think the the 49ers might have a better defense per se, like
Yes.
stat wise, but the Eagles pass rush is probably better.
Yeah.
And I think that is probably gonna win the game for them, like being able to get Brock Purdy uncomfortable in the pocket and all that. But I also think I gotta account for Jalen Hurts and his ability to make plays. I think he's gonna step up and make the plays that Brock Purdy doesn't make the plays. You know what I mean?
Okay. I like it.
I think it's gonna come down to the quarterback and the defense. And I just don't believe in Brock Purdy. And I think this is the game where Brock Purdy just has a collapse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe he throws
it's coming,
like
dude.
a pick or two. Like I think it's coming. I think it's this game right here.
I genuinely think so too. Like
Also, too, don't sleep on Big Play Slay and
James
what's the
Bradbury.
guy's name?
Yeah,
James
they've been
Bradbury.
killing it, dude. That whole team is just, and I know like I'm a fan of Jalen Hurts, and I still think he's a great quarterback. But this team is just so gifted everywhere. Like they have stars everywhere.
It's a deep team, man.
Their O line is star studded. Their wide receiver star studded. Their defense so star studded. Like and I think like, do the Niners have a better defense? I think so. But when it comes to the Niners pass rush, if you think about it, they have one, maybe two guys. And like I mentioned, the Eagles, it seems like they have 4, 5, 6 guys. You know what I mean? And that's when your pass rush starts to get scary, when you have multiple dudes that can do it over and over again. Yeah, I think the Eagles definitely take this. All right, moving on. We got Bengals at Chiefs. Who you taking, Nick?
I'm gonna go with the Chiefs.
Okay.
I know Mahomes is banged up, but that guy just somehow makes plays. Like it's incredible. I know I'm not a big fan of like the media dick sucking people, but
Yeah.
the dick sucking for the Chiefs and Mahomes is
It's warranted.
probably like
Yeah.
like warrant. Like the guy's proven he's a Super Bowl winning quarterback. He finds the craziest ways to make plays. I don't know how, but like he hops off one foot. You see, like it's the plays like that like are insane to me. Where it's like he's running, and then it's like almost like every time you see like 90% of the other quarterbacks, they just run run with it.
Yeah.
He runs literally to like the last very possible millisecond and
throws
throws it, and like
Yeah.
it's a touchdown. I'm like, how?
Yeah.
Like how? Like how do you even stop that? Like it's so hard.
If there's anybody that should be called an alien in the league, it's Patrick Mahomes and nobody else. Nobody else. That's like
The guy has insane arm strength, but also insane accuracy. It's a ridiculous
And-
combo.
Bringing it back to the Bills real quick, there was one play that Romo called Josh Allen an alien, and he was like, only Josh Allen could make this throw. And I watched the throw over and over again on replay, and I'm like, I've seen Patrick Mahomes make this throw a million times and harder throws. Like, what are you talking about, dude? It just...
Yeah, I don't know how you stop Mahomes. Like the plays that he makes off script that are just incredible.
Okay.
But also too, this is the one team that's probably is like
Kryptonite?
It's kryptonite. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, and piggybacking off that, that's why I'm going to take the Bengals. I don't know what it is. I definitely think Mahomes is better than Burrow, but I think Burrow's right there when it comes to that like ability to
I think the
just take
Bengals
over
are probably
games.
a better team overall, to be honest.
I think so
but
too. And
I think it's just the fact that Mahomes just carries them. You know what I mean?
yeah, and the one thing I wanted to touch on with the Bengals, I meant to mention it earlier, but I'll mention it here. I think something that's kind of slept on about the Bengals this year, that's kind of gone under the radar, has been this Bengals defense. This Bengals defense ain't no joke.
Last 2 years they weren't too bad.
No, they weren't either. But I definitely think they're better this year. They're definitely playing a lot better. I mean, they held the fucking Bills to 10 points. And again, the Bengals are just a kryptonite to the Chiefs. Like, I genuinely think that continues this game. And I've been saying it for the last month or so, ever since we found out who made the playoffs. I've been saying it's going to be Eagles-Bengals. And I think that's what's going to happen here. I think it's going to be a very good game, as every Bengals-Chiefs game has been the last 3-4 times. But I do think the Bengals figure out a way to pull it out. I think it's going to be a good one, though. A very good one.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping now that we're in the conference game, the final four best teams of the 2022 to 2023 season, we get some good games here, like one-score games.
Yeah. And I'm actually glad that the playoffs have worked out this way, Nick, because if like let me pull this up real quick, right? So going into the wild card weekend, yes, there's good teams here, right? But looking at the beginning of this, we thought, okay, who are the best teams? The Eagles, Niners, and probably the Bengals, Chiefs, maybe Bills, Chiefs, whatever, right? We said there was 3 teams from the AFC that could make it. It would be the Bills, Chiefs, and Bengals. And that's what we got. Here, we've been saying that there was 2 best teams from the NFC that can make it, Niners, Eagles. And it's worked out that way, and I'm really excited for it because I think it's going to turn into some really good football. And, like, don't get me wrong. I love when Cinderella stories make it and they come in and they have the chance to make the Super Bowl. And sometimes they do. Like, I love seeing that. Don't get me wrong. But all year, it seems like the best teams in each conference are these 4 teams. It seems like, especially since the last half of the season, right? We were like, okay, these are the best 4 teams in the league, and that's what we're getting. So it's going to be exciting to see. And I think no matter what happens, it's going to call for a good Super Bowl, I feel like. I mean, even if we get Niners, Chiefs, it's going to be good. If we get Niners, Bengals, it's going to be good. If we get Eagles, Bengals, Eagles, Chiefs, like any of those game matchups are going to be good games, I feel like. So it's definitely exciting.
I'm excited to see who takes it, man. Should be a good Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Should be a good conference games. I don't know who's gonna take it, but it's definitely a good season.
It really has been. Like, we've had some crazy things happen. Had some
It's been a
crazy
season
teams
where
come
you
out of
don't know
nowhere.
like who's gonna win.
Yeah.
Because there's been some crazy comebacks, like the Dolphins against the Ravens. That was a good game. That was like what, 6 touchdowns for Tua, 5 touchdowns,
Yep.
6 touchdowns I think it was that he came back to win. Fucking the Jags came back to win, like
The
against the
fucking
Chargers. Like there's just
the
been
Colts
so
Vikings
many,
game, like just so many crazy games.
so many good games. Been a good year.
It's been a very unpredictable year, I feel like too, which is gets me excited for these upcoming next 3 games essentially, the 2 this week and the Super Bowl.
100%.
100%.
100%.
With that being said, I think it's gonna wrap up this episode. It's been a pretty quick one, but I mean we're getting, like we said before plenty of times, we're really only talking about playoff teams. So of course as it gets shorter
How you
and
doing?
shorter,
Keeping it moving, you know?
yeah. But we got an exciting week of football coming up. It'll be the last week with multiple games, and then a bye week essentially,
man.
and then a Super Bowl. So
A bye week, the Pro Bowl, flag football game,
yep.
skills competition. I like watching skills competition. I'm gonna watch
Oh, I
it.
love that. Yeah.
So hopefully that's a good one. And, yeah.
I do think we'll have the games this weekend, and then I want to say Thursday of next week on the bye week we find out like who wins all the awards for the year. So that'll be something to look forward to. We'll bring that up in the next week's episode maybe, or maybe the week after that, because the way we do our episodes. But yeah, I mean, that's gonna wrap up this week. Make sure like anybody that's watching these videos, like we say always, like, comment, subscribe. But if y'all are watching these videos and you plan on to continue watching these videos, just maybe type in the comments what you want to see us do in the off season. I mean, we got a lot of stuff that we're wanting to cover. Probably some stuff that we're gonna forget about covering. So maybe just if you want to see us do a mock draft of your favorite team, we can do that. You know what I mean? Like, anything goes in the off season. We got so much shit we want to talk about, so much shit we want to do. We're going to try to probably keep doing an episode every week in the off season, just because it gives us something to do and we enjoy doing this. So like I said, just let us know what you want to see in the off season, and we'll try to get to it for sure. But I think we haven't really discussed a whole lot of it, but I'm sure like once the season ends, we'll do like a recap of the season, revisit our predictions in the early year and things like that, and then do some mock drafts. We'll do some free agency things. A lot of stuff to come, so it'll be exciting. But as always, we appreciate y'all watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Nick, you got anything?
Stay safe out there. And appreciate anyone and everyone that watches and likes and comments, subscribes, all that. And every, Monday? I don't know what time, usually like 3 to 4
Yeah.
Eastern time. We're live on your Twitch. It's in what is it? It's in the comments, or not the comments, the descriptions of every video. So if you want to watch it live, you can come watch it live.
Yeah, and you can also, I mean, we read the chat while we're streaming too, so you can literally ask us questions while we're live too. So.
But yeah, shout out to all the people that watch it.
Yep, we
Shout out to the
appreciate y'all.
fans.
We appreciate y'all for sure. Y'all stay safe and
Let's go play some Apex.
let's have a good week of football. Peace.